So, you want to buy a Lamborghini. You have the money. That is the easy part, and this video is not going to insult you by pretending otherwise. What almost nobody tells you is that the badge, which looks like Ferrari's twin, is actually built on the opposite business, and that difference is going to cost you real money the day you try to sell. Subscribe before we start, because by the end of this, you will understand why the loudest car on the road is quietly the harder one to make money on, and why that is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's begin where every buyer begins, with the price list. The entry point is the Urus SE, the plug-in hybrid super SUV, at roughly $252,000. Then the Huracan's replacement, the Temerario, the new V8 hybrid that revs to 10,000 revolutions per minute, landing in the low 300s. Then the flagship, the Revuelto, the plug-in hybrid V12 that starts around $608,000 and once you are finished with it, does not stop there. And above all of them, the few-offs, the limited series with names like Sian, Countach, and Centenario, cars priced from $2 million upward and sold before the public has even seen them. Those are the numbers on the window. Almost nobody pays exactly them because personalization is where Lamborghini quietly prints money. In 2025, the company delivered 10,747 cars, and 94% of them left the factory with at least one ad personam option: special paint, exposed carbon, a bespoke interior stitched to a customer's brief, a color match to a phone case if the customer insists. On a Revuelto, carbon fiber packages alone can add nearly $100,000 over sticker, and a fully configured Urus SE has appeared in dealer inventory north of $333,000 against a $252,000 base. The base price is the beginning of the conversation, never the end of it, and Lamborghini designed it that way because the options carry a far fatter margin than the metal underneath them. There's a longer story hidden in those delivery figures too. In 2017, Lamborghini delivered 3,815 cars. In 2025, it delivered 10,747. That is nearly a tripling in 8 years, which for an ultra-luxury brand is almost heretical, because the entire promise of exclusivity is that they do not make very many. The thing that made it possible was the Urus, the super SUV, that now carries a huge share of the volume and lets Lamborghini fund the theatrical V12S with the profits from school runs in Dubai and Los Angeles. Revenue over that same window grew even faster than deliveries, from about 1 billion euros to more than 3, which tells you the average car got more expensive and more personalized every single year. This is a company that learned to grow volume and pricing at the same time, which is supposed to be impossible in luxury, and mostly is, which brings us to the part nobody explains at the dealership. You do not simply walk in and buy the car you want, at least not the good ones. Lamborghini, like every ultra-luxury maker, deliberately builds fewer of the special cars than the world wants. The regular Huracans and Uruses, yes, those it will happily sell you, but the limited editions run through an allocation system, and that system does not care how much cash you're holding. It cares who you already are to the brand. So the first thing you actually buy is not a car, it is a relationship, and it has a scoreboard. Lamborghini runs an internal client rating inside its own CRM, separate from the dealer's own records, and owners on the forums will tell you the same 6 things every time. Buy your cars from the dealer, trade them back through the dealer, get them serviced at the dealer, show up at the events, be pleasant to everyone, and do not, under any circumstances, buy a car just to flip it. Do all of that, and one day, you get the phone call offering you the car that was never publicly for sale. That call is the entire point, and it is the reason that people who can pay cash for absolutely anything spend years being deliberately, visibly loyal. And the relationship is asymmetric in a way worth sitting with. There are only a handful of ultra-luxury supercar makers on Earth, and each one keeps its own list. You cannot buy your way to the front by waving money, because money is the one thing every applicant already has. What you can offer that the next billionaire cannot is history. A garage full of cars you bought through the proper channel, a service record that shows you actually drove and maintained them, and a reputation for never having embarrassed the brand by dumping a car for profit the week you took delivery. In other words, the price of admission to the good cars is paid in patience and obedience, not cash, and that is a currency most wealthy buyers find far harder to produce. Now compare that to the loudest myth in the supercar world, that a Lamborghini is an investment. For the cars you can actually walk in and order, that is simply false. According to CarEdge, a Huracan loses roughly 46 to 48% of its value over 5 years. Nearly half. A $200,000 car becomes a $105,000 car while you were enjoying it. The Urus, the best-selling model in the company's history, has watched early 2019 examples fall from well over 200,000 to auction results near 132,000. Volume is the enemy of value, and Lamborghini now builds more than 10,000 cars a year. But the assumption that any rare Lamborghini prints money is exactly how people lose it. If breakdowns like this are why you are here, subscribe now, because the running costs are where the real bleeding starts. Let's talk about keeping the thing alive. The routine servicing, surprisingly, is the least of your problems. An annual service on a Huracan runs around $1,000 to $2,000, mostly oil and inspection, which for a supercar is almost reasonable. The pain lives in the deep services and the consumables. Every 3 to 5 years, the bigger jobs come due. Fluid changes, spark plugs, clutch inspections that can run to $6,000, and belt or gasket work that lands between $5,000 and $10,000. Carbon ceramic brakes, when they finally wear down and surrender, frequently clear $10,000 on their own. Then add everything around the car. Tires are a soft compound built for grip, not distance. So a set is roughly $1,000 to $1,500 and can be gone in 5 to 7,000 miles if you drive the way the car begs you to. Fuel is premium only, and a V10 or V12 drinks it. Easily $4,000 to $5,000 a year for an owner who actually drives. Insurance ranges wildly, from a lucky, older owner paying around $1,000 to a young urban driver quoted $7,000 or more. And the pricing guides put the real band at $5,000 to over $20,000 a year. And because these cars hate sitting and hate weather, many owners pay for climate-controlled storage, which can run $500 to $1,000 a month all by itself. Put the running costs together, and independent estimates land a Huracan owner somewhere between $18,000 and $30,000 a year for careful weekend use, and $35,000 to $65,000 for a hard-driven daily. And none of that is the real cost. The real cost, as always, is depreciation. And unless you bought exactly the right limited car and never drove it, depreciation is the largest single line in your entire ownership. Over 5 years, one widely cited breakdown put the total cost of Huracan ownership around $257,000, more than the car cost new. So the picture is clear, and it is not the picture on the poster. A standard Lamborghini is a spectacular machine and a poor financial asset. It will thrill you, and it will bleed value. And the two are not in conflict, because you were never actually buying an investment. You were buying an experience, and the experience is worth what it is worth. The mistake is telling yourself otherwise while you sign. Of course, there is a cheaper door, and it is the one most people actually walk through. The used market. The very depreciation that makes a Lamborghini a bad investment for the first owner makes it an accessible dream for the second. A Huracan that's stickered north of $200,000 new can be found used between $175,000 and $220,000, and an early Urus or an older Aventador can be had for figures that would have been unthinkable at launch. This is where the trap lives. The cheapest Lamborghini on the market is cheap for a reason, and the reason is usually waiting in the service bay. Buy a neglected car to save money on the sticker, and you can hand it all straight back in a single clutch job, a carbon brake replacement, or a deferred major service that the previous owner quietly skipped. The pre-purchase inspection by a proper specialist is not optional. It is the difference between a bargain and a very expensive lesson wearing a beautiful body. The one genuine way to buy the experience without the depreciation is not to own it at all. Rental fleets will put you in a Huracan Spider for around $1,100 a day. No insurance exposure, no maintenance, no storage, no resale risk, and no rated client politics. For a lot of people who just want the weekend and the sound in the photographs, that math quietly beats ownership, and Lamborghini does not mind, because every person who drives one is a future buyer being marketed to at their own expense. Before you commit, understand the risks sitting under all of this. The first is the one Lamborghini itself flagged: tariffs. U.S. import taxes on European cars pushed prices up in 2025. The brand could not pass all of it to buyers, and its own CEO admitted some wealthy customers simply paused, waiting to see whether the tariff number would settle before they ordered. When even Lamborghini buyers hesitate over price, it tells you these values are not immune to the wider economy, no matter how exclusive the badge feels. The second risk is an accident, which can erase 6 figures of value in a heartbeat and attach itself permanently to the car's history and its price. The third is the collector market's mood. When money gets expensive and auctions get quiet, the cars that look like investments start looking like inventory, and the Countach that could not find a buyer above $2.2 million is the proof. And the fourth is the brand's own future. Lamborghini has hybridized its entire range and is building toward its first full EV, and nobody yet knows how the collector market will treat a silent, electric Lamborghini, or what that transition does to the values of the screaming combustion cars it leaves behind. There's a flip side to that last risk, though. and the smart money has already spotted it. Because Lamborghini is moving to hybrids and eventually electricity, the pure, naturally aspirated V12, the thing that defined this brand for half a century, can never be built again. Scarcity of a thing that cannot be remade is the entire logic of appreciation, which is why the final combustion flagships, the ones with no plug and no motor, are the cars collectors are quietly circling. The Aventador S VJ has climbed from around $390,000 in early 2024 toward $420,000 to $460,000 in 2026, precisely because the market understands it is the end of a bloodline. If any modern Lamborghini prints money, it will be one of these, and Lamborghini knows it, which is exactly why getting offered one requires the loyalty ladder in the first place. Time to pull it all together and answer the actual question. How much does this cost you, and what do you get back? These are real numbers, drawn from the used market, the service bay, and the auction results, not brochure figures. Let's run the math on 3 realistic versions of your Lamborghini. Option 1, the experience. You buy a used Huracan for around $200,000 and drive it 5,000 miles a year for 5 years. Depreciation, call it a conservative 40%, is $80,000 gone. Running costs at $20,000 a year is another $100,000, and that figure is not padding. Independent trackers put 5 years of Huracan insurance around $42,000, 5 years of fuel near $20,000, and 5 years of maintenance between $15,000 and $25,000 before a single unexpected repair. Add it up, and your total cost of ownership lands around $180,000 or $36,000 a year, which is roughly $7 for every mile you drive. In exchange, you get one of the great driving experiences money can buy, and a garage that makes everyone who visits stop mid-sentence. That is the honest trade, and for a lot of people it is worth every cent, as long as they call it what it is. Option 2, the relationship. Over several years you buy the regular cars, the Urus, the Temerario, the Revuelto, roughly $1 million deployed, exactly right. You buy from the dealer, service with the dealer, attend the events, and never flip. You lose real money on depreciation across those cars. Call it $300,000 to $400,000 over the decade, but you are no longer a buyer. You are a rated client, and rated clients get offered the few offs. Option 3, the allocation. You are offered a limited edition few off, and here the honest answer is, it depends entirely on which one. Buy the right car, an SVJ, a final naturally aspirated V12, something the company has told the world it can never build again. And you may see steady appreciation of 4 to 6% a year, while values of the ordinary cars quietly fall around it. Buy the wrong one, like the Countach LPY 804 that shed hundreds of thousands of dollars with almost no miles on the clock, and you learn the hard way that even scarcity is not a guarantee, and that a sold-out car and a valuable car are not always the same car. Lamborghini offers you the door. It does not promise you what is behind it, and the difference between the two outcomes can be a 7-figure swing. And that is the whole difference. Ferrari sells you a Q and a near certainty that the halo car goes up. Lamborghini sells you a feeling at full volume. With the appreciation left as an open question, the market answers case by case. One brand engineered its resale into a religion. The other engineered its cars into an event and let the values fall where they may. Neither approach is wrong. They are simply selling 2 different products that happen to share a silhouette and a top speed. Ferrari sells an asset that is thrilling to own. Lamborghini sells a thrill that occasionally turns out to be an asset. If you buy one expecting the other, the disappointment is entirely of your own making. So here's the last, unglamorous option, the one nobody with a Lamborghini poster wants to hear. Volkswagen owns this business and does not float it separately, so you cannot cleanly buy the 24% margin the way you can buy a share of Ferrari, which means, with Lamborghini, there's no quiet financial version of ownership hiding behind the loud one. There's only the car. You either want the experience badly enough to pay for it honestly, or you do not. That is the business. Lamborghini does not sell you an appreciating asset. It sells you the single most theatrical driving experience on earth and charges you a luxury margin for it, and it is completely upfront that the drama is the product. Every other car maker competes on sense, on comfort, on practicality, on how quietly it gets you to work. Lamborghini competes on spectacle, on the head turn, on the noise that sets off car alarms 2 streets over, and it wins that competition decisively, right up until the moment you try to sell, when the spectacle goes quiet and the only thing left on the screen is a number. Whether that number makes you smile or wince depends entirely on which car you bought, how you treated it, and whether you ever fooled yourself into thinking the feeling and the finances were the same thing. Subscribe And we will do this again next week with the next machine that sells you a feeling and quietly charges you like it is a serious asset.